Hey guys, what's up? It's BG, and we're doing an update on the USACC build. Of course, it's the Dodge Dart we're working on, and ours is going to be named the Dart Bag. It got its name because it was a bag kit. So, I mean, why not, right? So, anyway, I make myself laugh. So, what we have accomplished over the last few months is we've grafted on an Iceman front end and got a MCV gasser front end glued in place. And right now we're kind of messing around. I have this cross member white glued in place because we're trying to move that fore and aft to get the best position for where we want the engine to sit. I originally had it setting a little too far forward, so now we're going to try and move it a little bit farther back, but not smash into the firewall, that kind of a thing, because we want to get the position figured out so we can. I've already done a paper template of, can't pick it up, a paper template of the hood and where we think the ejectors, because I had the engine mocked up, I did measurements to figure out where it's going to be, and then I have it drawn out on the hood, but I'm not 100% happy with that because I think it might actually end up sitting a little bit farther back than we think. So I have this drawn in a very conservative size. It's very, very narrow, very, very tight around the injectors. So we're going to make sure that sorts out okay. And then at the same time, we've been modifying the radiator core support to go around the tubes there. And we also cut it a little bit so that we could install this radiator that comes with the front end kit from Iceman. So it has some wing pieces in here that we went and sliced out to open that up. Looks a lot better. I like the height of where we have that glued in place. I'll probably put a piece of styrene to fill that because I cut it all out. Put a piece of styrene to fill that back in again if I need to. But right now we're looking at getting this all dressed up so that it's going to look good where it's supposed to be at, and then help keep the front of the car at a good height. We did let's take this guy out, peel it apart. There was a little bit of a gap along the top of the firewall here, so we took a piece of C channel and super glued that in place. And then if I need to, I can round over the edges because this, the center of the body is a little bit higher than the edges, so we can round that over as we need to. I just used a piece of C channel because I have a lot of it. I didn't have a lot of really thin stock that size, so this piece of C channel fit the gap perfectly, and it's just the right width too to match up with the firewall. I do have a lot of cleanup to do down in these areas here. I still have a little bit more cutting and grinding to do to make everything match up a lot better. And once that's all taken care of, then I'll be a lot happier with that. But right now, the next big question on the docket is the rear end. So what we've done is we cut just behind this flange here and right alongside the axle, and took out that small chunk of axle tube, and then glued it all back together again. So we narrowed the rear end a little bit more than it was narrowed already, so that the wheels were sticking out pretty far. So if we press these into place here, and I could also slice off these little collars there if I want to, but right now we're just going to stick with that because I do like the distance that the tires are from the axles, from the springs. And we put this on the car, the right there at the edge on both sides. So I like that a lot better than it was sticking out like this. I didn't care for that. So, all right, on to things. So I kind of cheated and stuck these pieces of box tubing on there just to see if I could cheat with this, but I'm not liking that, so there's going to come back off. But they are almost the right height, so I have an idea what I want to work with. The idea is to put make some sort of shackles so that we can have this sitting where we want to. And then we also have a set of traction bars that were supplied to us by a friend. I think these might be MCV parts also, but they might be Iceman. I can't recall, but so That's what happens when you have friends all over in the 3D printing market. But we're going to try and figure out where to set these on. Sorry, it's a little far away. Get this figured out in height and where it's supposed to be in space, and then we can glue that all into place, and then we can come back and then figure out where we want these guys to sit, because I want to make some hard points to have these lock into. I think that would be the best looking way. And I've seen these at angles or straight. I haven't decided yet. I think I might just go with straight because that'll be easier to deal with. But that's the plan there. Still working on all that jazz. The body, we've got a piece of styrene card in there to fill because the firewall and everything sits just a teensy bit further forward. So I have the gap filled with some styrene card. And I did drill out the antenna hole. Drilled that out, and I might drill out some of the side marker holes too, just to have those open, just because, you know. And I might leave off the door handle hardware on this side and only have it on the driver's side. We'll see how it goes. But that's kind of it. And the engine we're using is an Iceman. I had the bag here a second ago. There we go. I'm using this guy, the Hemi Hilborn stacked engine. She is stacked. That's really awesome. Now these guys are starting, I have them all white glued on there, so they're starting to fall over a little bit. We're doing mock-ups and stuff. But I had the headers on there, and these are beautiful little headers, but they curve right into the firewall. So we're going to try and make our own solder headers out of there. Let's see how that goes. I usually have a 80% success rate on those, and that's just white glue that'll peel off, no problem. And then we also have to figure out, of course, where that cross member is going to be so that we can put the motor mounts on the engine. We might have to put them, you know, can't put them that far forward because the alternator's in the way. Or excuse me, the fuel, the oil pump, the oil filter, good Lord. And then, so I might have to move them just a teensy bit back or whatever. Depends on how this engine builds up and how everything fits together. Yeah, so it's like one thing leads to the next. It's definitely a house of cards when it comes to stuff. So there we go. That's going to be our update for this guy. Sorry, I'm being really quiet. Mrs. BG is resting right now. I don't want to be waking her up. She's on the other side of that wall. So there we go. And we'll talk to you all next one. Guys, take it easy, and we'll see you again.